Initially, Tu Yaa Main felt like just another run-of-the-mill thriller that was mildly engaging at best and where I was not expecting to care much about these characters. Right up until this one specific moment that brought the whole story together and led to one of the best final 30 minutes I have seen in Hindi horror. Avani, played by Shanaya Kapoor, and Flo, played by Adarsh Gourav, are a young couple who have recently met and fallen in love. They seem to be having fun and painting the town red when they find out that Avani is pregnant. This naturally throws their lives into a spiral. They are not even really sure what they are to each other yet. How could they bring a child into this world? We see their worst fears come up and then them going cold on each other. At this point, I felt that they are perhaps too caught up in their shallow lives to even consider what's happening with a clear mind and consideration for the other person. And then to make it worse, they are suddenly thrown into this deadly situation, stuck at the bottom of a pool with a crocodile around that could devour them at any minute. And right in the middle of them fighting for their lives, they end up having this very difficult conversation. Avni says that maybe the child will finally mean that she is not completely alone in this world. Wow. As soon as she said that, my heart broke for this kid. We finally hear what's hurting her. Now, is that the best reason to have a child? Probably not. But isn't this exactly how a lonely young person tries to fill the emptiness? This moment suddenly made me lean in and look at this character. Suddenly I could see the person underneath all that fame and shiny opulence. Instead of looking at her as just another shallow, self-centered influencer who would make for the perfect happy meal for this crocodile, I now suddenly wanted her to survive. I wanted even Flo and even the baby to survive. I was suddenly invested in the story. And because of that, the entire third act of Tu Yaa Main became as emotionally charged as it was thrilling. Tu Yaa Main is a surprisingly enjoyable film. And it's also kind of memorable. I have not been able to forget these moments. A rich influencer from South Mumbai meets a working class Maharashtrian rapper from North Mumbai. Both of them are completely committed to Instagram fame. And because of that, I thought they were going to be unbearable and narcissistic and constantly competing with each other like modern movie couples often do. And I was bracing for the pointless pissing contest. But every few scenes, the film revealed a little more heart than I expected. Instead of trying to dominate each other, these two are surprisingly gentle with each other. They both have this zest for life and we see this natural chemistry develop between them. They have a fresh Gen Z kind of maturity that perhaps comes from growing up on the internet, or maybe in their case from growing up too early. She lost her parents very young. His father abandoned the family when he was young too. Even though they have some family around, emotionally they are mostly on their own. This maturity seems to also help them navigate the star-class divide. They come from completely different worlds and they both happily blend into each other's worlds. And just when we see a good thing evolving, she gets pregnant. And suddenly, all the joy is sucked out of their relationship. Neither of them are remotely prepared for this. So far, they were just having fun. Perhaps they could manage each other's differences for a casual relationship. But now, something real just happened. Now, they are faced with each other's real priorities. And then, they get a little cold around each other. As if they were never too serious and this pregnancy exposed it. Were they just using each other for the internet clout? Maybe. I wondered if they were really shallow after all. But before they can sort this all out, they are trapped in this insane situation. And the situation, let's talk about the giant prehistoric monster sitting in the middle of this movie. A massive, terrifyingly aggressive crocodile crawls straight out of the drainage pipe into the 20-foot deep diving pool where our leads are trapped without a ladder and without a single soul around in an abandoned hotel with seemingly no way out. And on top of that, there is this massive storm hitting outside. I believe the film is adapted from a Thai movie. I haven't seen it, but they did a really good job of making this setup feel very local to Konkan. Because if you have ever experienced peak monsoon season in this region, you know how isolated and helpless everything can suddenly feel. Roads disappear, daylight fades away, electricity fails, nobody can reach you or help you. The movie blends that very believable helplessness with the insanity of the crocodile horror beautifully. I loved the slow burn they created using the weather. You can feel the walls closing in on them. And about the creature itself, well, this is pure nightmare fuel. I already hate reptiles. The eyes and the sounds it makes, and the way this one crawls, and its sheer size, and how viciously it attacks, it all crawls under my skin. There are moments where all you hear is the rain as they are trying their best to hide on the other side of the pool, and this thing just floats there. It's terrifying. They have used the creature so sparingly, but you feel its presence all the time. It's barely there on screen, but I think that made it scarier, and their terrified expressions are just perfect. I would be trembling like that too. Does India have such big crocodiles? And are they this agile and fast? Jeez, man. I don't know, but I believed it because the rest of the world feels so real. I eventually bought into how the crocodile moves around and eats one alive human at a time, including that kind-hearted cop. May he rest in peace. Battered and terrified, while trapped in the middle of that pool, Flo pushes her to explain why is she insisting on having this baby. It makes absolutely no sense to him. It feels like it would sabotage all his goals. And that's when she drops her guard. Maybe the child will finally make her stop missing her parents. Parents that she lost in a brutal car accident when she was a child. And I thought to myself, wow, she's not numb like much of the hyper-cynical world around her. It takes strength to continue seeking connection after such a big loss. What she was hiding behind the nonchalance of internet fame was not emptiness, but profound grief that a real person carries with a brave face. And suddenly, her character clicked into place for me. It now made sense to me why the class difference didn't come in the way of their connection. She sees people above everything else. Loss and pain have a way to wash away superficiality. It explains why she notices the love inside Flo's house before she notices how small the house actually is. And now I like this girl. She's a tough nut. I want her to survive. And then Flo responds by assuring her that he will stand by her till the very end. And they have a moment there. And suddenly my heart was invested. These brave kids who have no one else to look out for them have to survive this. Towards the end, there is this breathless sequence where Avani has to swim underwater through a dark drainage tunnel, fully aware that somewhere in that water is this giant crocodile. She faces a clear, undeniable option to just escape and save herself. But she doesn't. She swims right back into the mouth of the tunnel, trembling fear and all. And now we know why she goes back. This haunting image of her childhood memory, watching her parents slowly drown inside a sinking car. She has spent her whole life carrying the guilt of not being able to save them. But my child, how are you going to save two adults? But hey, the heart believes what it believes. When it comes to your loved ones, you believe you can do anything. And in that drainage pipe, she decides she would rather die trying to save Flo than let that trauma happen again. And I thought that was beautiful. Watching a privileged modern youngster find that kind of ancient mythic courage to swim back towards this terrifying creature in the dark was really powerful. And how they take turns talking courage into each other till they are out of danger was adorable. Our director pulled off three almost impossible things here. He made a thrilling, believable creature feature in India. He made a rich, poor romance feel emotionally real in 2026. And most amazingly, he made a Nepo baby genuinely likable. Because let's be honest, the brickbats were already out for Shanaya Kapoor. Everybody was ready to clown this performance. And honestly, I was skeptical too. But she really wins this one. The film gives her something modern movies often deny their characters: emotional vulnerability and the ability to genuinely love someone. Adarsh Gourav is also very good here. He plays Flo with restraint, but never feels emotionally hollow. A beautifully terrifying creature and such well-crafted moments of horror. However, I loved the film mainly because it got me to care about these two wounded characters who still had enough light for themselves and for each other. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next one.